Finally, the last topic that we really tackled as a community after the holidays was the idea of technology and gaming. As I'm evolving my system of play at the table, I notice that I'm kind of opening the door on more and more technology and more of a digital format. It's something that I really pushed back on for a long time because I was a bit of a traditionalist, and I do love my pencil and paper and the tactile feel of rolling dice and being around a table. And I always kind of felt like the more wires you brought in and the more tech you involved, the less you were attuned to that kind of traditional tactile nature of the gaming. So I've opened my mind a little bit to that, and I found it's not necessarily the case. In fact, most of the digital that I bring in is complementary to the experience, and that is my caveat. I'm all for digital, I'm all for tech at the table, as long as it's complementary to the experience and it doesn't, in the interest of making things easier or more quick reference, take away from the hands-on and the connected experience of playing at the table. So I've boiled this down to essentially both DM and player side technology under two buckets of hardware and software. So when it comes to hardware, I've brought a flat screen TV into my table, for example, and I really love the element that that brings into the experience. It's a lot faster for me to queue up and serve maps. They're bright, they're vibrant. It adds a little bit of ambient light to the table, which is always nice because I like to bring down the lights, add like LEDs, and add music for ambiance at my table. So any other kind of subtle light that we can bring in, even if it's just, well, I don't know, the radiation from a television screen, that's not how I pitch it to my players, but it's a really nice touch. And moving forward to that, we're getting into the software where I'm actually going to start getting into animated digital maps too. I'm really excited for that. The other types of hardware, you know, I allow iPads and tablets at my table. I allowed cell phones for the purposes of character references, not for texting your BFFs mid-combat, but definitely as a character reference or even virtual rollers if people want to do that with dice. But if we're playing in person, then, you know, it's not hard to get your own set of dice, and that's part of the romance to me. So coming back to hardware, you know, tablets, cell phones, sure. I love the television for, or the flat screen TV for digital map serving. And now I run a lot of it from my laptop. And what that's allowed me to do is consolidate all the papers and stuff like that into a laptop that's in front of me that I can quickly flip through and switch through, but I'm still doing all my own writing. So it's really made my work easier, as in in the sense that I don't have to constantly flip through pages, which is nice, that I can quick reference PDFs that I've purchased, that I can quick reference stuff on D&D Beyond. So I guess the inevitable nature of technology is catching up with me, and I'm really starting to lean into it and how it helps benefit play at the table. Now, the other side of that is software or online platforms. So we're familiar with some of the usual suspects like D&D Beyond, the character creator, the encounter builder, the compendium and the quick reference stuff that's on there, as well as even Roll20 for reference use and character sheet management, stuff like that. So that's kind of the online properties where they can help at the table. But additionally, there are a lot of great apps out there for character management. And in my case, as a dungeon master, when it comes to creation, of course, for me, it's map making tools. And that can be anything that's pretty standard, like Photoshop that I use for a lot of my realistic map making. But now I'm starting to look into animated map making platforms, and I'm looking at two particularly. One of them is Arc and Forge, and the other is Dynamic Dungeon. So over the next couple of weeks, I'll be testing with both of those platforms, and I'll be reaching out to those creators too. I think they're both great products. I just want to make absolutely sure that one or the other will do what I hope they will do as far as bringing my own maps in and making them animated goes, as well as, of course, I need something to serve it to a second screen and add fog of war effects. So stay tuned, because of course I'll be posting lots about that, lots of videos and how-tos. And once I get into the actual map making, then there's tons of opportunity there for me to do time lapse and tutorials and some more video content, as I mentioned earlier.